Okay, so continuing with part 3, A3. So here are the new capitals. Just for the sake of reconciliation, we know that the share of Terrell was 30%. So the total new capital, as we did calculated in the, this is the new capital of the Terrell. The capital of Donley was 52 plus 4,000 bonus, right? So 56. Capital of Lammer was 48,000 plus 3,200 bonus, and similarly the new capital of Pinkston, and the total is this, and these are the relative percentages. Of course, this percentage was also given on the basis of which the entire calculation has been done. Part 4. So let's see now part 4. The part 4 question, A4, says that he invests 42,000. The new partner brings in 42,000, but is given the credit of 30% ownership. So there is a bonus to the new partner now, right? So let's calculate. So 42,000 cash coming in. So 42,000 is the cash coming in, right? And so this is clear. So let's bold it, right? Now the total capital, right, is previously it was 118 plus 42. So the total capital is 160,000 now, right? So 160,000 is the total capital. So out of total capital, the Terrell is given the credit of 30%. So what should be the share of Terrell? The share of Terrell, the capital of Terrell should be this 160,000. So it should be 160,000 into 0.3. So this is the capital of Terrell, 48,000. So the capital of Terrell, 48,000. This is also confirmed credit entry. Now this means that there has to be a corresponding debit, which is equal to 6,000. The difference of credit and debit. So this 6,000 now, which is the bonus, which is the difference. Why it is bonus to new partner? Because new partner brings in 42, but he is getting credit of 48. So it means this is a bonus to the new partner. So who will bear the burden? The other three partners. So they will divide it in the ratio of their respective income sharing ratio. So 6,000 into 5 over 10, 6,000 into 4 over 10, and 6,000 into 1 over 10. And these are the new capitals now. So the new capital for each of the partners. So the new capital for Donley is equal to 52,000. Previously it was minus 3,000. For Lammer it was 42,000 minus 2,400, a debit entry. This one was 18,000 minus 600, and this is 48,000, of course. So let's turn them all red because these are not part of entries, these are just the reconciliation. Although this reconciliation is not necessarily required, if we have done the things correctly. So this is the total capital, right? And we can see that this one, so let's see, first work out this one. This is equal to this divided by this, locking it. So again, he is 30%, and these are the share of the rest of the partners. Right? So this way we have worked out the ratios. Of course, income distribution ratios are not required. So this is another working, right? So okay, now we shall do the problem for B, which is a bit technical, which we couldn't do in the class. So it says Lammer's capital balance is 32,000 after admitting Terrell to the partnership by investment. So this one line help us work out some numbers. So the Larrell's capital, old capital was actually, so his old capital was actually 48,000. His new capital is 32,000, right? And the profit sharing ratio is actually, so let's turn it black, and let's turn it black. So I have hidden it for you, right? So 32,000, it means he has suffered a deficiency of 16,000, right? And by doing this, he foregone 20% interest. So he has foregone 20% interest because his remaining interest is now 20%, right? Anyway, so from this we can work out how much deficiency should be suffered by Donley and how much deficiency should be suffered by Pinkston. And how do we work it out? So we work it out by, if this 16,000, right, he suffers loss which is equal to the 40% of the total loss, because the total sharing ratio is this one, right? So this means that if he suffers 16,000 loss, so what is supposed to be the total loss? the total loss is supposed to be divided by 4 multiplied by 10, or divided by 0.4 multiplied by 1. So this is the total loss, and multiplied by the loss of the Donley is 5 over 10, 20,000, right? So this is how this is done, or you can directly see that this divided by 0.4 multiplied by 0.5. So again, let me work it out another way. What is the total loss? The total loss is actually 40,000. This is H42. This 16,000 divided by this is 40%. He bears only 40%. So the total loss is 40,000. Now 40,000 if the total loss, then what is the loss for this partner? So the loss for this partner has to be, right? So this is the loss for this partner, right? So you can also work it out by 50% of this 40,000. So 50% of 40,000 comes out to be 20,000. Similarly, the loss suffered by uh, this one, the last one, Pinkston, is 4,000. That is the 10% of the total, right? So the total loss, again 40,000. How we work out total loss? 16,000 loss suffered by Lammer is 40% loss, right? Because he shares 4 over 10. So total loss is 40,000. This is the 16,000 divided by 40%. And from this 50% loss is borne by the first partner, 40% he bared, and 10% will be borne by the third partner. So the total loss suffered by these three is actually 20 plus 16 plus 4 is 40,000. So as a journal entry we make, right, Darley will suffer a loss of 20,000. So he will be debited by 20,000. So these are the debit entries and these are the credit entries, right? And Lammer suffered a loss of 16,000. Pinkston suffered a loss of 4,000. So they have been debited. Now we are missing the capital of Terrell and the cash. So these two items, if they are there, then they will be balanced. So now coming on to some more calculations. What is the capital of, have I done some calculations over here which I have hidden? I think so, I did. So I'm looking for the hidden calculations. Okay, let's turn our black. Okay. So what is the new capital? So the new capital of Donley is 52 minus 20 is 32,000, 48 minus 16 is 32,000, and 18 minus 4 is 14,000. So these are the new capitals. And now further, how much cash we are receiving? Let's read some other information from here. If Lumar's ownership interest is 20% of total partnership capital, right? So this 32,000, which is the new capital, is actually 20% of the partnership capital, right? So this is 20% of the partnership capital. Now this means that what is the total capital then? So the total partnership capital is actually this 32,000 divided by 20%. So the total new capital, because he is 20% owner now and his capital is 32,000, so the total new capital is equal to 32,000 divided by 0.2, which is equal to, let's calculate, 160,000, right? So the total new capital is 160,000. If 160,000 is the total new capital, right, then the new capital of these three partners taken together for now, right, is 78,000, right? And 160,000. So how much actually Terrell will invest? So the Terrell will invest 160,000 is the total new capital minus 78,000, the new capital of the old three partners. So is equal to, so this is equal to 160,000 minus 78,000, 82,000. So 82,000, right? This is the profit. So this is how did we work out? So it can be worked out this way as well. So there is another formula balancing this equation. Now how much the cash will be debited? Now we work out this figure. So 82,000 minus 40,000. So 82 minus 40. So this should be, cash brought in should be, if I'm not wrong, 42,000. So if 42,000 cash comes in, the total comes out to be, so let's do it 42,000 So total 82,000 debit, 82,000 credit, and now let's verify now. If the four partners have, so so new capital of this partner is 82,000, so the total capital is 160,000, and this way the interest of this partner would be 20% automatically, right? So that is the solution, right, of this part. And there are other ways to work out these missing figures, the 42 cash and 82 over here. So if you arrive at these numbers with the conceptually right calculation, that's okay. Don't necessarily you follow this method of calculating. Thank you.